Don't you know your smile lights up the darkness, and your eyes set the world on fire. You should know you're more than this moment in time. So take a breath and hold your head a little higher. Don't you know there's purpose in your story? So don't hold back and keep it to yourself. I know it's hard to see the life surrounding you, but I hear your heart and your cries for help in this war that you're fighting. You are not fighting alone. You are not fighting alone. Hear the thunder, feel the lightning, but we'll stand against the storm, and we'll be standing when it's gone. I'm never gonna give up hope, so don't you dare ever give up on hope. Don't you dare. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Lunch Break Live, your 15 minutes of hopeful reflection at midday. I am so glad to be back with you. It has been a while. It has been since before Christmas that we did this together with a very special guest. And I am so excited for two reasons today. One is we do have one of my favorite humans on planet Earth and on all other planets. She is here with us today, but also I'm excited because that first song you heard, that little snippet there, that is from my brand new mini album, which is out today. It is called Expressions Wonder. Some of you guys might remember that Expressions Radiant came out in the fall. So you can get those on the places where you get your stream on, or if you like those round things with the hole in the middle, those CDs, you can find that on the website at GinnyOwens.com. So that is all about me. Now let us get to our guest. This lady is a singer, songwriter, author, one of the most joyful people I know. She has created music in every genre from gospel to pop to Americana, and she's written for other artists and also just albums upon albums of her own beautiful songs, which we will get to hear some of today. She's won Dove Awards, been nominated for Grammys. She's written for like Mandisa, Vince Gill, Rascal Flatts, Amy Grant, and written with moi. So lovely to have you today, my friend Cindy. How are you?
Oh, hi, Jenny. Oh, my goodness. Hi. What a good way
You're
to start.
So important. I mean, I just love it. And can I tell some behind the scenes Cindy stories?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know.
So,
are you making all this up?
No, it's so when I was in high school and college, and we are not that far apart in age, actually, just a couple years. Like I'm 25 now, and you're like 27 or something like that.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, it's really cool. But we've done a lot in our lives. So when I was in high school and college, I just was so in love with all of your songs. And I remember when I Will Be Free came out, and I would just sit and try to figure out all those chords. And of course, how could I ask for more? I love to play that one. And then when I graduated from college and then started into this crazy world of music, I went on the tour, and you were my first roommate on my first tour. And not only that, but you were, I mean, I don't know how I would have made it without you. You were like the best mentor and still are. And you've taught me so much about songwriting. I remember one of my first songwriting adventures was writing Blessed for Rachel Lampa with you. And I remember you just teaching me about the grace that comes with multiple folks in a room writing a song and just all of these wonderful things. So I just have to say, Cindy is one of those people that is the same beautiful soul on the outside and the inside. And okay, now I'll stop talking about.
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad well, first of all, I just love those memories that we shared together of, I just remember, I remember that I was pregnant on the
Yes.
Rocketown tour when we
Yes.
were roommates, but I hadn't told anybody yet. And I was like eating crackers in my bunk across from you, like on the tour bus. And you're like,
Yes.
then you're like, are you eating? Because you were like across the hall. And you're like,
Yep.
are you eating crackers? I was like, how did you hear me eating crackers? But anyway, those were
And you
good.
told me, and I felt like so honored to get to keep a secret. It was
Yeah,
like,
you were
wow.
my secret sister, but no, we had some good times. And
We
yeah, and
did.
okay, the blessed song, I'm so glad that, like, how when other people record your songs, you never know like how it's gonna sound. But
Yeah.
do you remember when you first heard the recording of that song? I was in the
Yes.
car wash, and I just remember, I mean, I just was like having a church moment in the car because I was
Yes.
so thrilled. Were you thrilled with how
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Oh,
It was beautiful. And
oh
Rachel
my
just can
gosh!
sing it
Just
like
shoot,
nothing else.
yeah,
But it was one of those songs too, where in so many ways it sounded like what it sounded like in the room when we wrote it too, which was
yeah.
beautiful. It wasn't like, I mean, it sounded still, it was still the same song,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
was,
you could, if you would have stripped everything away on the
yeah,
recording to down to the piano part, it was the same,
yeah,
but just, the choir and the string, it was great. So
it was,
anyway, and
it
I
was a
love
beautiful,
that song you're playing in the opening. That's so beautiful. I'm excited about your
oh,
new project.
well, thank you. I'm excited about your new projects, which are also releasing today. So yes, Saint Lola projects, and we will have all of this in the YouTube and the Facebook notes. So please check it out. But Cindy has the lovely Saint Lola project, which this is your second single that's coming out today, right?
Yeah, so my partner Jeremy Bowes and I, we do this, like, it's kind of a, I think this record, it's kind of sad Southern Gothic pop, it's very,
Oh, I love
yeah,
it.
yeah. But anyway, so we just released our first single in a lot of years,
Awesome.
a couple weeks ago. And then today, in honor of Valentine's Day, we have a
Woo-hoo.
song releasing called Touch. And it's a little, yeah, it's definitely for couples. I'm not a couple. I'm not in a couple. So I'm not,
Right.
I'm not dating. I'm not married and I'm not dating. So whatever, but you know,
Yes.
imagine if
Yes.
that were the case.
Yes. If that were the case. If that were the
Did
case.
I
Yes.
overshare? I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
you did not at all. You did not at all. There are lots of us in the world who are single right now,
There you go.
and maybe some of us who were not single and are now
Yeah.
single. And it's
Mhm.
Valentine's Day is one of those times you either kind of ignore it, which is what I typically do right now. I'm like, I got too much studying to do, so whatever.
Yeah.
But it also just it does remind you of where you are or what you don't
Mhm.
have. So
That's
yeah,
right.
it's a real thing to think about.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of love, one of the things that I have just always loved about you is that you do have this love of your craft. You have a love of life, and I don't just mean that, but we've been around this music world, or just the world in general. There's lots of folks who are like our age, like 25, 28, who are
Mhm.
really jaded about life, but you are joyful and hopeful and positive. And so I'm really curious, like, what brings you joy and inspiration as you continue to, do this writing thing and singing thing that you've done
Hmm.
since you began your adult life? Like,
Hmm.
how do you continue to find your joy and inspiration in that?
Oh my goodness. Well, the fact that you think I'm joyful, I mean, that's amazing to me because I think I can be like such an Eeyore. So
Oh,
I
no.
love that. I mean, I don't know,
Well,
but
anytime you're Eeyore, it always ends in hope. So that always makes me
okay.
joyful. Yes.
No, you're my Pooh. You're my Winnie the Pooh, Jenny. So, well, I think that, I mean, I mean, I've struggled, and we've talked about this. I mean, I've struggled with anxiety a lot and depression. It
Mhm.
definitely runs in my family. And oh my goodness, in this day and age, who doesn't struggle with anxiety and depression, but it is a very kind of, I hate to use the word common because that kind of feels like it belittles it a little bit, but it is I think something that we all share. And so for me, years ago, when I was really battling it, and to the point to where it was like, almost hospitalization.
Mhm.
I really had to kind of dig down and where is the well that my hope
Right.
comes from? And
Right.
and so I had to get in touch with that.
Mhm.
And so, for me, I have kind of some people would call it a spiritual, I don't know if it's a practice, but it's just like a daily routine. I try and get up and I do like quiet time and I like read whatever book, kind of, theological book I'm reading with some scripture and prayer journaling and that sort of thing. And I feel like when I have that sort of foundation, it reminds me from whence my help and my hope comes from, and
Mhm.
so it just makes the rest of the day feel like, you know what, it's like it's okay if everything isn't okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Absolutely. That's beautiful. That is truly beautiful. Yeah, I feel like it does start in the morning. That's how
Yeah.
my if I can center myself, and yeah, for me it's the same, just having time to have some prayer and to, I just know that the answers aren't going to come from within me,
Yeah. No.
maybe depending on what I've had to eat or what kind of day I have or what kind of circumstances I'm facing. I can't trust those things will come from within me. They have to come from
Yeah.
someone bigger and greater and wiser. So and I do think for those of us that are kind of the creative types, whether artists or just other creative types, um, we learn early to sort of be deeply sad about certain things in the world. It's just kind of how we're prone to be,
Yeah.
right? So,
Hmm.
and that impacts how we write our songs or how we create, whatever it is, our books or how we paint or whatever it is. But we see the world differently, and so I think figuring out how to see that way and yet have hope that is underneath and above and surrounding that at all times is the ticket to a life where we can keep going and keep strong. And yeah, so love it,
Hmm.
my friend. Well,
Yay.
tell us a little bit about, and by the way, you guys can probably all hear, because I live in a New York apartment, we have radiators and they always like to turn on when I'm doing something live. It's just great. I love it. So it's about
Is it
15
on
degrees.
now?
Yeah. Can you hear
Oh, I
it?
can't hear it at
Oh,
all.
great. Well,
Okay.
you'll probably be able to hear it when you start singing.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about when you began singing and writing and playing and what inspired that.
Well, my parents were both songwriters and musicians, and my mom's a gospel singer. My dad was really more of a true singer songwriter. So, I mean, I think I just grew up with that in the
Mm-hmm.
house, and that, music was a huge part of my childhood. And so I think that I was the youngest of six children, and
Mm-hmm.
and kind of grew up in an environment that was maybe a little countercultural. Like we lived in a log cabin in
So
the middle
cool.
of nowhere, and like my mom cooked on a wood burning stove, and we had a fireplace as our only heat, and like. And we lived too far away to go to like social fun. I mean, I don't know. It's like I think
Yeah.
I spent a lot of solitary time, like in the
Mm-hmm.
woods and in the creek, and so I think that those were really just kind of the solitary time when I was processing life. And
Mm-hmm.
and I did that through writing songs. And it's like whatever was going on in my childhood was just kind of the roux for me to become a songwriter. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like what you were saying about the melancholy is the happiness of being
Yeah.
sad. It's like we are all so, if you are that kind of creative type, then, so feel things deeply,
Yes.
good or bad, So, yeah.
Yes.
So the music is the processing, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And like, do you think that, because a lot of times you're writing your own songs, but one of the things that's so amazing about you is that you help other people tell their stories. I mean, you've written for so many other artists. And then what always is amazing to me about you is that you'll go home at the end of the day and write your own songs about your own story. So how do you, like, what is the secret to hearing other people's hearts enough to help them write their story?
Wow, man. Well, I mean, I definitely feel like I fail many, many times in doing that,
No.
but no, yes, but but I think part of it is like when you write with people that you connect with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, for me, it's all so say like I mean you and me like we're BFFs. So we get
Right.
in the room and it's like, we can talk for hours about anything,
Yeah.
but if I'm in the room with someone that I don't know, and even worse on a Zoom right with someone I don't know, that's the worst
Yeah.
possible thing.
Yeah.
Then it's like, how do I care as much about, it is truly like a practice in empathy, I think, but it is how do I care as much about this person's story as I do about my own? And I think
Yes.
that to me is one
Yeah.
of the most important things as a writer to go. You have to care about the other's story as much as your
Yeah.
own.
I feel like that's love your neighbor too, right?
Oh,
Isn't it?
that's good.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's good.
there's some kind of life illustration than that, I think. So,
Mm.
well, enough pontificating right now on that. Why don't you sing us a beautiful song? So you're going to sing us "Breaking Heart," is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
You're going to tell
So
us a little bit about us. Yeah,
yeah, and this is on my little ukulele.
I love
Um,
it.
oh my goodness! And like I mean, I wrote for years on piano, but like doing open tuning on guitar, but like it was really helpful to kind of break away. But I got this uke, and I never know what I'm doing, but just like it was a kind of you know uh, good to kind of approach it in a kind of a non-traditional way. But anyway, this song is speaking of depression and all that, which I think is super connected with like what a lot of people have been going through in the last year. But
Mm-hmm.
this was inspired by a friend of mine, not a close friend, but a woman that I went to church with, who unsuccessfully attempted to commit suicide. And I went to visit her, and just when I went to visit her, it was like, how did I miss this?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are people in our lives, it's really important to pay attention, to what's
Absolutely.
going on. And so,
Absolutely.
because, and I had kind of a flashback when I walked into her house to like this moment when I went back to visit my dad. And it was after I'd moved out of the house. And like I got there, and like there were like dirty dishes piled up in the sink. And I
Mm.
was like, this is not normal. My dad is so tidy. And when I walked into her house, it was the same thing. And
Wow.
I was like, wow. And so I feel like this is kind of a story about her and my
Mm-hmm.
dad, and that kind of the
Mm.
whole experience of,
Yeah.
paying
Wow.
attention. So, all
Yes.
right. These four walls seem ready to give. It's like they know where the weak point is. So I sit and stare. Dirty dishes stacked up in the sink. Speak a word and you're out on the brink of a jagged tear. And you wait and you wonder and you push against the dark. Every day going under, wishing someone felt a beat of that breaking heart. The devil whispers that he's your friend. He comes calling when the door's unhinged. Will you let him in? Leaves in the pathway, grown up through the stones. The neighbors wonder if anyone's home since the lights grew dim. And you wait and you wonder and you push against the dark. Every day going wait for rescue, pray for a sign, for someone to read your mind. Oh. And you wait and you wonder and you push against the dark. Every day going under, wishing someone failed, and you crave and you hunger for big glimpse or just a spark. Every day going under, wishing someone failed to be that breaking heart. The devil whispers that he's your friend. He comes calling when the door's unhinged. Will you let him in?
Oh, I love that song so much. I just love how you sit in that place of just that question for the whole song. Are you going to let him in? That's so good, girl. So good. And I feel like a lot of us, probably anyone who's a human being, has had that feeling at some point during the last year, especially. Just where are we? What is going on? Like, how do I keep the negatives away? How do I find hope in the midst of all this? So tell me a little bit about how you have spent this crazy COVID season. I know your daughters have been home with you, right?
Yeah, so they're both home, and we've all, we all had it over Christmas. I know you had it early on. And
I did. What a Christmas gift for you guys,
yeah,
man.
It was great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible, but we thankfully we made it through without a trip to the hospital, so that was really good. But yeah, I think it's weird, and this is like probably everybody's experience, but if we like kind of pedal back in time to March when it first happened, and there was a little bit of that. Everyone's exhausted from the treadmill we all live on, so it's like it was kind of felt like a blessing.
Yes. Yeah.
It was like, oh man, what a relief. And then it was like scary, and then it was exhausting, because it's like the cabin fever, and and I think now it's like there's this kind of feeling of we've settled into it. And
have you and the girls done anything fun together? Like, have you come up with a fun group activity or hobby that you never thought you would enjoy before, or never even thought we would try?
Yeah. It's so funny because we binged on we are still binging on the Great British Break Off. I mean, we've watched all we only do Mary Berry, Paul Hollywood. We don't move forward past them. But anyway,
hilarious.
But no, awesome. I think lots of walks in the woods. Like there's a state park kind of close to our house, so we've gone for lots of walks in the woods. And I don't know if I can turn around and mess up, but I brought my record player in because like playing records,
fun.
That's been fun. And now Olivia, my oldest daughter, got me let's see, I'm going to grab the cover here. So she found this in a thrift shop. It is like, we started playing this at Christmas, so it's the Procession of Carols. So it is like the choir of the King's College in Cambridge.
Oh, that is so fun. I got it. I mean, not on my record player, but I was listening to King's College all of Christmas.
Oh,
it's so beautiful. Yes.
I know. I queued it up here. I don't know, like if we got a second, I'll just like, I'll just hit you with like just a second of King's College here. But
on your record player. I love it.
I know. I was like, I'm gonna blow Ginny's mind here. Let's see here.
Yes.
Can you hear it? So in the morning, I play it every morning as I do my devotions.
Oh wow!
It's like the heavens, right?
It is. Oh, it is. It's so amazing.
I think, and then we started doing, because it's like so like it's so jubilant, but like in not a annoying way.
Right. No, it's
And
sort of it's ethereal and it's majestic and it
yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
majestic. That is such a good word. And
Yes.
then we started doing like family night on Monday nights, and like just having dinner at the table together and doing some game. I don't know, just
That's so fun. Yes, the things that you always hope you might have time for
yeah,
and never can get to. Yeah.
So
Oh,
these sorts of things, and
yeah.
so, and lots of,
What?
just having lots of, community that in our bubble that was safe. So yeah, yeah.
Oh, which is so beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
What about like any specific, I don't know, spiritual practices or any verses that you really kind of found some hope in during that time?
Yeah.
Anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, I mean, I think I'm a bit of a ADD devotionaler. I mean, I
Yeah,
will say that
me too.
I read The Prodigal God, and that was really great. And I
That's
loved
very
going out
good.
on my porch in the morning. I mean, I think I've, read, I mean, and I'm reading, the one about, occupation by Keller.
Uh,
You can help
the
me.
yeah, I could if I could call it to
Yep.
mind. Yes,
It's
it'll come
slipping.
to work.
It's,
Yep, I can't call
oh,
it right now.
I know, me neither. So, but it's about work. Yeah.
Yes.
It'll come to us in a second, but,
Yep.
so to say there was one single verse, no, but,
Yeah.
I feel like, so this is my daughter got me 3 of these for Christmas. Oh man. So they're little little journals.
Oh,
And
cool.
so, like at the beginning of January, this is like kind of New Year, but at the beginning of January, like I started a prayer list of people, and then it's an absolute chaos nightmare right now because I write things that I'm feeling about people, and so I've got to make a new one. But just every day, just writing down the scripture that kind of really stuck out to me in my reading. And so this
Yeah.
morning, I don't know, but I knew we talked about reading something. I thought I would read, what I did this morning.
Yeah. Oh,
That really, cause I was listening to my, King's College, and I was like, oh man, it's a good
I love
morning.
it. Love it.
But so February 8th, right? So, um, Genesis 1:1. I mean, I love, it's like, I should put the record player on because that's how I was reading it. I was reading it with like the carols behind me. It was so awesome.
I
But,
love it.
okay, let me get to there. I so should have done it. Oh, see, I'm doing everything wrong. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're
This
fine.
is, this is live. This is live,
This is
right? This is
live.
like real
Exactly. This is
life.
real. We want to know. We want to know what your
This is
practice
real
is when you're
life. That's
reading.
right.
But while you're getting ready to, one thing that I was thinking about is one of the things that I have found so important is to write down people's names specifically and pray
Yes.
for them
Yeah.
and write down things that I am asking for them.
That's
Whatever's
good.
going on in their
Yes.
situation. I know that's part of what you were talking about, and you and I have talked about that before, but just that is, in 2021, it's a great thing to start. There's a book called The Praying Life by Paul Miller that I would highly
Wow.
recommend to
The
anyone.
Praying Life. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
getting
And
that.
it's very straightforward and kind of just honest, but it's a lot of his story as a person who was learning to pray, who is learning to pray, and just the beauty of that process. And it's very easy to read. Highly recommend it to everybody, but it will inspire you in 2021 to pray very specifically for your friends and the people you love and the people you see at the coffee shop and all of that. So highly recommend that. And the radiator does too. Can you hear it yet? Oh my gosh, it's so loud.
I love it. It's comforting to me. I love it.
Oh man,
The
not to
Praying
me.
Life.
It's just
Okay,
loud.
I love it. I'm gonna get
Yes.
that.
Okay.
Okay, you want me to read?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And now the earth was formless and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit was hovering over the waters. And I mean, I mean, it's just the beauty of that. And so I just wrote a little, which I think is kind of just my own little letter to God, but the Spirit was hovering over the face of the deep. The image is so beautiful and mysterious and sacred, and it is in some ways a perfect picture of you. Your beauty is incomprehensible, and yet you try to share the beauty within by creating the wonder of the natural world. Who hasn't come over the rise of a hill and been awestruck by the expanse of a sun-soaked valley with a glimmering river winding its way through, with the sky in its reflection? Our breath catches in our chest for a moment, and we ache and marvel. And so it is with you and the love you have offered to us. We ache and wonder at the marvel of it all. So,
wow, that's beautiful. That is, and so true. Wow, you write that in your journal?
well, I mean, I think, it was the King's
beautiful.
College. That's what it was.
No, that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being willing to share that. That is beautiful. Yeah, I think it's so easy to forget about just the marvel and of creation and the beauty of it, like the majesty of it, the intricacy of it, all of that. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know we could just keep talking because it's so fun and I just want to hear more writing, but I know that you have many things to do in your day and probably some more King's College songs to listen to. So why don't you play us another song as we prepare to wind down our time?
Okay.
Do you have something in mind that you want to play?
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because I was thinking about this song last night and had no idea that this is what I was going to read this morning. And so this is a song from Autumn and Eve, and it's called In the Beginning.
Very cool. Thank you.
Okay. Of course, my tuning is gone. Okay, we'll try. In the beginning, we were all asleep. Oh, when Spirit was hovering over the deep. In the beginning, we were only dust. Oh, when the Spirit was breathing into us, saying, "Come to life, come to life, little children, come to life, little children, come to life." In the beginning, we were beautiful and free. Here in the middle, Lord, can you help me? Come to life, come to life, little children, come to life, little children, come to life. And now I wonder, have we fallen asleep? Come, Holy Spirit, wake this dead man in me.
Oh, so beautimous. I love it. You know, that makes me think. I was listening the other day to some old blues stuff. There's an amazing Black History playlist on Apple Music. There's quite a few of
Oh,
them, but there's one
wow.
that just traces back to the beginnings of blues and gospel, which I remember just even in college learning about, and those old recordings and just being so moved and amazed by. But anyway, those just the chords and the movement remind me of some of those very old kind of blues gospel songs. So anyway, beautiful, my friend. Thank you so
Well, I'll
much.
have to check out that playlist. That sounds
Yeah, I'll
really
send it to
cool.
you. It is
Yeah,
very
yeah,
cool. I
please
can't
do.
think of what the name of it is, but I will hunt it down and send it to you. But thank you for sharing and being here today. It's so fun
So
always to
fun.
just hear your stories and your beautiful writing, and I can't believe your journal entries that articulate at whatever early hour you may have written that. But and so everyone
Oh,
can
man.
know Saint Lola, which is you and Jeremy's little band, and Scars is already out, and then Touch is the single out today, right?
That's right. That's right.
And then Autumn and Eve is the last
Mm-hmm.
EP, which people
Yeah.
can find in Bows and Arrows, also my favorite, one of my favorite of
Aw.
Cindy's albums. So many of my favorites that you guys should all just check out all of them. Really, they're amazing. And then if you have any time left, you can check out Wonder Expressions Volume 2, Wonder, which came out today. And that we will have links to that as
Yay.
well here. So woohoo!
That's the
All this
one to check
music,
out.
so much music in the world. It's so fun. Well, thank
Love
you
it.
for just being here with us and blessing us with your beautifulness, my friends.
Thank you for having me. I love it. I love you.
Oh, love you too. Can't wait to see you soon.
Okay.
Okay, bye everybody. Bye.